welcome to another YouTube video. Today we're actually going to get a little more specific with this video. It is not going to be your typical vlog. It'll still be a vlog, but today's vlog is going to be all about how to create high quality content, because I noticed that that's one thing that's really missing in this industry. Is if you are going into this wanting to be a content creator, your priority has to be creating the best quality content so that your content can stand out amongst like all of the other content creators. I think that's one thing that's really missing when we're talking about this huge piece of the puzzle. Content creation is like the main thing, and I think a lot of us get carried away in thinking like we need all these tips and tricks, and you need, you know, marketing skills, you need this and that, you need to do your messages, you need to have conversations. And yes, while all that is important, it all comes down to being a content creator and creating high quality content. Really what you see when you look at these really big creators that are doing really well and are really, really successful is you can see the quality of their content is so much better than smaller creators. It just is. And yes, they have a lot more resources, but that is why I want to teach you how to create the best quality content that you can with minimal equipment, with the things that you already have at home. And that way you can at least get on that level and start to make more money. And then you can upgrade your equipment so that you can look more professional and get high quality photos and videos, so that way you can stand out and make more money. So in this video, we're gonna talk about setup, we're gonna talk about lighting, we're gonna talk about equipment, we're gonna talk about upgrading your equipment, and we're gonna talk about editing. And then at the end, I think we should talk about consistency, because sometimes getting consistently great quality content is a little more difficult because it does take a lot more effort, but there are strategies to be able to make a bunch of high quality content all at once. That way you can be consistent and kind of schedule things out, and the planning side of scheduling is really, really important. So we'll touch on that at the end. Let's jump into it. Quick interruption, because I did want to say me and the girls, Blair, Erin, and Ann, are doing another webinar. If you want to join, the link is down below. It's going to be tips on how to market on YouTube for like big ass growth, y'all, big growth. So if you want to get tickets to that, again, links are down below. All the dates and everything is going to be down below. So I'll see you there. All right. First step of all of this is actually going to be the equipment that I use and that I have, what I shoot on, all of that. Let's just start with the bare freaking minimum of what you need to shoot good content. A good quality phone. I will say you can use any phone. Most phones have a good quality camera these days, but there are two things that you need to do. Wipe off the front, wipe off the back. You're always putting your fingers all over the cameras. You're always putting your head to your phone. You're wiping it, whatever. Just make sure you can use your sleeve and wipe off the camera, because that's the biggest thing that I see when people shoot with their phone cameras is they're like, oh, it's not any good, da da da, or it's all blurry. It's because you're not wiping it off, or your phone's just bad. But let's just say it's because you're not wiping it off. Do that every single time you shoot. If not, you're gonna have really blurry pictures or fuzzy looking pictures, and it's not gonna be as top quality as it can be. So your phone does just fine. So the next thing that you're gonna need is like some sort of tripod that you can put your phone on. What I use if I am shooting with my phone is I use my ring light. My ring light has a little spot where you can put your phone. I got this ring light on Amazon. I am gonna link it down below. And it's just a really small, compact ring light. It's super lightweight. I can take this part off and pop this in a backpack. It's so small. So if you are taking it on vacation or whatever, I would highly recommend getting one of these. I think this was like $50, $60, and it definitely comes in handy. So if there's anything that you're gonna buy, it needs to be a tripod so you can put your phone on it, and second, a ring light. This is probably the best setup when you're starting, and this is the only two things that I had when I first started creating content: the ring light and my phone. Now, I did upgrade my phone when I started. After making a little bit of money, I did upgrade my phone. So if you do have an older phone and the camera isn't as good and you're like, how come the quality is just not that great? and you're really trying to get a good quality camera, once you start making money, I would invest in first a new phone. Any phone is gonna work for when you're just getting started. Now I'm gonna show you some of the upgraded stuff that I have in case you wanna upgrade your stuff. The first thing is I got this tripod. It's super compact as well because I do like to take my stuff with me when I go places. So I have this really small compact tripod. I will link this one as well. This is from Amazon. It is the GE Kodo, I think that's how you say it. And it's just a really small little tripod and it fits in my backpack if I'm taking it anywhere, and it also holds a really nice camera. So I will show you the cameras that I upgraded to, but this one holds a great camera, and it doesn't have like the 360, well, it has 360, but it doesn't like fold down. So this is the first tripod I got, and this one was probably around, I want to say $80 to $100. And then recently I just upgraded to another tripod that's a little bit bigger, but it still folds up pretty small. And it is from the same brand off Amazon. I'll link this one. And this one I want to say is like $130. But this one has a lot more that you can do with it. You can make the whole camera face point downwards, and that way you can get like an above shot pointing down. Does that make sense? Like if you're laying down, you can get an above shot. So this is the type of upgrade that you might want to do eventually, or you can just jump straight to this tripod. And I think I would recommend that. Save up another $30 and get the bigger one, because if you want to get different angles and different shots, then this little upgrade is going to make a big difference. Now I want to share some of the camera upgrades. So the camera that I'm filming on right now is my Sony ZV-E10. It shoots in 4K, which is really, really great. And I use this for a lot of my try-on videos, and I just put it on the tripod, face it into the angle that I'm going to show you guys in the room, and it shoots really great videos. I also have this camera that I used to use a lot. This is a bigger, better camera for high quality photos, and it also shoots in 4K. This is the A7 IV from Sony as well. I personally really like Sony because it comes up with really natural colors. I really like the natural look of Sony cameras, so I have this one as well. This is a pretty expensive upgrade, but the one that I'm shooting on right now is a little bit cheaper. I'm gonna link all these cameras, so if you're looking for an upgrade that isn't too expensive but still a really nice camera, the one I'm shooting on is great, and you can actually mirror it onto your phone, so you can take pictures from your phone, and I love doing that for photos as well. And then you can do the same thing with this one. Any Sony camera, you can do that. Other cameras also allow mirroring now too, so look into it before buying. I definitely think having that mirror onto your phone really helps when you're far away and you're getting pictures and shots. You want to be able to see it, so that's great. And both of these cameras do have a flip out, and I use these for videos and shooting as well. Now, I also recently just got another camera that I showed you, and this is the DJI Pocket Osmo 3, and I love it for shooting vlogs and also for shooting short form video for either my spicy pages or for social media. I just think it's really handy, and it's really small and compact. You can throw this in your purse, and it has this little carrying case so it doesn't get hurt or anything, and it has a great microphone. And if you get the creator pack, it also comes with one of these tiny microphones. So sometimes I shoot vlogs on these. I have not shot photos on this, but it does shoot in 4K, so I'm sure the photos are also really great, and I really like it for just quickly being able to have high quality stuff. And it also is able to stand up on its own, so you don't need a tripod. But if you get the creator pack, it comes with this mini tripod, which is great. So you can really take this anywhere. And like I said, I haven't taken photos on it, but you can get really great photos on this as well. So those are some of the upgrades you can do once you get to a certain point that you can reinvest into your business. And I think that reinvesting into your business is really ideal. But let's get into how you can really make your photos just off your iPhone a lot better, and any photos that you take you can make better. Let's jump into setup. We're in my bedroom where I normally shoot all of my try-on videos and all my content for like Slushy and OF. I normally shoot in my bedroom. There are a few things that I want to show you. I don't want to show you, but I'm going to show you. This is what my room looks like right now. I don't even want to keep going that way. It's a freaking disaster. Do I show that in my videos? Do I show that in I mean, obviously I do in my like vlogs and stuff like this, but do I show that in my content? I try not to. I try to move everything over so that you can't see any of the mess. If you have too much junk going on in the background, it's not gonna look good. It's not gonna look like a high quality photo, even if it's shot on a really nice camera. It's just not gonna look good. It's not gonna look like the quality that these giant, big influencer creators are doing. They're not letting a mess be seen. It really does make the difference to just clear the background. As you guys see, this is the background that I use for my try-on videos. So what I do is I completely clear this space. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna move this suitcase that I have not unpacked yet. I'm gonna move it over here. So now I have a completely clear area. I did choose this area on purpose. Like I shoot here for a reason. There's a window that is facing this way. If I turn this way, I am completely backlit. See how dark and like bad the quality is instantly from me turning around having the window behind me? This is not the quality you want. You want this quality. So you need to find a location in your apartment that has one, a light facing, and then that has a really clean space. And if you have to move things around, you have to move things around. I have to do that often. I'm gonna show you a few pictures that were actually taken in different areas of my house where I had to move furniture. I had to move my table in this photo. I had to move my dining room table and move these chairs that are actually in my bedroom into the living room or into the dining room to get this photo. So you are gonna have to move things around, and it can't be like an easy, oh, you know, I'm just gonna take it here because it's easy. You really do have to think about the space, think about the background, think about how it looks, because that's gonna make all the difference from a high quality photo to a low quality photo or video. So when I shoot here, I just try to make sure this area is completely clean. I move everything over to the side, and if there is any mess, which normally I like to keep it as clean as possible, but if there is any mess, I move everything over, and then I bring a mirror in and I put it right here. For my try-on videos, I like to have that mirror view as well for the background. And then I put this ring light here and put my phone here, and I only use the ring light if the lighting isn't as strong. So right now the lighting is pretty good, and I wouldn't actually turn on the ring light today. But if maybe it was a darker day, or there was some clouds in the sky, or I was filming a little bit later or earlier when the light hasn't hit yet, then I would turn on the ring light. I try to shoot in all natural lighting because I think it does make for the best quality videos and photos. But if you do need some extra lighting because maybe your apartment's really dark or the window that you face just doesn't get that much light, then having the ring light is really great. And it also has 3 different settings. I use the one that's in between because I think that's the most natural. The orange one sometimes looks a little too orange for me. And you can also adjust the opacity, like if you want it really, really bright or a little bit more dull and soft. And if I'm shooting on the bed, then I would just move this tripod off the bed and put it down here, and then shoot at the bed so that you can see just the bed and there's nothing really in the background. Like I said, I like to keep it clean. If you have a lot of stuff on the walls and paintings and pictures, just try and find somewhere where it is pretty neutral and pretty clean. And neutral can be colorful. It doesn't necessarily have to be like neutral colors, but just not super busy, because the busyness, unless you're doing some sort of like really busy, beautiful, you know, type of photograph, you know, if it's really thought out and planned to be that way, then that makes sense. But if you're just shooting your everyday content in front of a lot of picture frames that have pictures in them, and there's a bunch of different colors and patterns and textures behind you, then it can get really chaotic and cluttered, and it might not look as great. That's one thing to keep in mind, is just keeping your background as neutral as possible. I don't have a lot of just all blank white walls, so unfortunately this door does have to be here, and same with this little heater, but it's one of my most neutral and less cluttered spaces in my apartment, so this is why I shoot right here. As you can see over here, this is a more chaotic space, and I do shoot here for like YouTube videos and stuff like that, but I try not to shoot content unless I'm really close up to this picture, and then I can get kind of a clean looking background for videos and pictures and stuff. So I did want to go over editing and different styles and different looks and kind of compare like what looks good, what doesn't really work. I've mentioned it before, I used to really heavily edit my photos, and I've tried to tone that down. I just think that heavily edited photos, one, don't make sense on these platforms, because the reason why fans come to you is because it feels more real, it feels more natural. You know, if they wanted to see this heavily edited or heavily overproduced content, then they would just go to your typical porn sites for that type of content. But the reason why they come to these spicy pages is because they kind of want that genuine connection with you. And I think that if you're heavily editing your photos, then it doesn't feel like you're taking these photos in the moment. It doesn't feel like they're gonna get that genuine connection. So I think that kind of takes away from that kind of authenticity of these type of platforms. I also think it just doesn't really look good. So I have some examples of good quality content and not so great quality content of my own stuff, so that you can see, you know, obviously I've been doing this for now 5 years. I've had to learn as I go, and sometimes I have my downfalls where maybe I'm starting to try a different style and it just doesn't work, and then other times I'm doing it right. And I think that's what this is all about, is like you're learning, you're growing, and you're getting better every single time. So I definitely have some content from the past that is just not as good as others, and I wanted to show you some of that like bad quality content versus good quality content. And as far as like angles and stuff, I am gonna leave a video here if you wanna get, you know, certain good angles and good positions and poses, then these 2 videos are gonna be great for you. I did make 2 of these videos already, so definitely go over there for like positions and angles and stuff like that. And just bouncing off lighting and stuff, sometimes mood lighting is good. If you are gonna shoot at night, having maybe like a really beautiful colored background works. I would recommend shooting with a higher quality camera at night so that you can still pick up all those pixels and it doesn't look grainy. So I have some photos here to actually share of good quality night photos, and then not so great quality dark kind of mood lighting photos. So if you are shooting nighttime photos, just know that there is a way to do it, and even you can do it with an iPhone. There's definitely ways to get still great lighting at night, but you do need to think about how that lighting looks, test a few things, make sure you're using a ring light, maybe doing a little mood lighting behind you, to really pull out all the colors and make sure you're still getting as many pixels as you can in that photo. Here is a picture that is heavily edited, and here's that same picture. Now, if you don't heavily edit your photos, the quality of the photo is just drastically better. You can really tell when something's heavily edited. It takes away from it looking like a high quality photo, because that's not how these high professional, you know, photographers and influencers edit their photos. This is just too much. If there's a filter on it and you've got the smooth on completely high, you got whatever, it's just not going to look like a quality photo from a photographer, a top influencer. You really want to keep your edits to a minimum. I know it's hard because we're all so used to seeing a filter on our face. Just do something light. Just do a little light. Get used to editing your photos in a way that looks more realistic. So I would definitely recommend that. Like I said, your background. You want to make sure your background is clean and clear. So a picture like this is a little bit too chaotic, but a picture in the same exact spot like this feels a lot more elevated. Think about what your background looks like before shooting. Just move everything over. Just get rid of all the junk. Just take things off the wall. Push your furniture over. I promise you, it makes all the difference. So that's the next thing, is just keeping the background really clean, minimal. And then let's talk about that lighting. I've taken a few photos where I've shown you what the lighting looks like, and I showed you in the bedroom, but this photo was shot on the exact same day, only seconds away from this photo. And all that changed was I faced the window. That was taken on the exact same iPhone. You can't tell me you can't get a good photo with an iPhone, because this right here shows the difference that just lighting does for iPhone photos. And it's the same with camera photos as well. If you're using a quality camera, face the light, face a really bright window. And if you do want to edit some of your photos and you want to do something light and you want to do something easy, my recommendation is Facetune. That's what I use. I love it. I've been using it for years now. I used to heavily smooth out my face. I try not to anymore. I just smooth out, you know, a few different little things like underneath the eyes, or if I have a pimple or blemish or something like that. I do pay for the membership. There are some other editing apps. I just try to lighten the photos and smooth out a few things. That's it. I don't want to do too much. I want it to feel still like the picture was untouched, and that's what I try to do these days. That's what I would recommend. Now let's move on to scheduling and consistency. All right, scheduling and consistency. We're doing it in the kitchen. It's the only other spot in my apartment. So this is a huge part about quality that I think a lot of people get stuck on. I think it's a lot of people struggle to try and get a lot of content consistently at the same quality. And so a big part of this is making sure you know how much content you can get in one shoot and how long that will last you until you have to do another shoot. So something that I like to think about is, okay, if I can get 5 pieces or 5 days worth of content, then is it smart for me to post those every single day, or is it better if I post every other day because that will last me 10 days? So you need to think about this ahead of the time when you're shooting content. How much can I get out of today's shoot? How long is that going to last me? And what's the best scheduling that I can do to prevent me from having to shoot again tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and always feel like you're on this constant cycle and battle of me creating content and posting. I also think that we're in this day and age where posting as often as possible is kind of like, everyone feels like you have to, right? And you're gonna get burnt out that way. I finally realized I think quality is always going to beat consistency. Yes, consistency is really hard, is really important. Yes, consistency it's extremely important. But if you do have quality content, you are going to stand out, and eventually, if you're able to keep a consistent schedule that maybe it doesn't look like everybody else's, where you're posting every day of the week, a million times a day, yeah, maybe you're not going to. You're human. You're not going to be able to do that. But if you have quality content, people are going to see that. People are going to want your content because you have good content. So yes, find a consistency that works for you. If it's every other day, every 3 days, that way you can stay on top of that schedule, then do that. And you can always add in more days as you learn how to make more and more content. A thing that works for me is when I am shooting content, I try to shoot long stuff that I can chop into different pieces, or stop and start, and do a bunch of stuff all at once with one outfit, and sort of make these bundles that will last me for different places on the internet. I just recently did a clean with me type bundle, and what I did was I shot myself doing my laundry, doing my dishes, loading the dishwasher, and things like that. And I just went around the house and did that in a little outfit. And then I took a few photos for my wall and also for Twitter. And with that outfit, I was able to get quite a bit of content that will last me a long time that I can continue to reuse. I shot a bunch of different clips, that way I could cut it up and maybe use some of them that aren't too revealing for social media as well. And I can also sell the stuff that is a little bit more explicit. I'll also say, if you can do 2 shoot days a week, you'll be able to really get ahead if you're able to have 2 shoot days a week. Even 1 shoot day, you could make a week's worth of content, but if you can do 2 shoot days a week, you can get enough stuff to last you quite a while, and that way you can sort of get ahead, and that way if anything happens where you can't shoot 1 week, you are already ahead and you don't feel behind if you miss a week. I also think that part of this consistency and like battling the algorithm and like always constantly posting is kind of a toxic way to go about content creation. I think the number one most important thing about being a content creator is choosing to create, and the create part kind of gets lost. Like, we should be making art, we should be making really cool videos, we should be making stuff that resonates with people, we should be entertaining people, we should be getting people excited, whatever way that means. But I think a lot of it is getting looked over because we're thinking that consistency has to look a certain way, and I want to change that narrative because I've been overworked before. I've gone through burnout many times now in the 5 years that I've been doing this, and I want to make it the status quo that we don't have to work ourselves into the ground. Like, we choose to do this because we love to create. And that's what it should be about. Try and find a consistent schedule that works for you. Consistency is important, but what's more important is really quality work that can last you a long time. So think about that first, and think about how you can use the stuff that you've created to last you a longer period of time. That's my best of tips there. All right, I'm editing this video and I wanted to say a few last words. Rufus is right there chomping away at some hay. And that's not what I wanted to say though. But I wanted to say a few last words. Basically, we are having another webinar. This one's going to be all about YouTube actually, and how to promote on YouTube. It's really, really awesome. So if you want to get tickets to that, the link is down below. And I'll see you in the next video.